Welcome to the 8 in the Box podcast. Oh my goodness, it is October. It is mid-October. We're halfway through the college football season, but we're here. And with all this other stuff going on, which we'll get to in a minute, I am Dave Sharapan at SportsBK Consig on Twitter. That's for the Sportsbook Consigliere. And with me, as always, here to talk football, college football, is my guy, Brad Howe, my quarterback. Every week I look at you every time we start the show. I get excited. B. Howe, how are you, sir?
I'm great, my friend. Let's go, Consig. I'm ready to go. Now, don't be surprised. Do I have to weave in like an NHL first period, an NBA game? We got all kinds. I mean, the best time of year. There is so much going on, but we've got some great football. We have got great football to talk about.
It is incredible. October is such a fun month, and like the weather's so nice outside here in Vegas. You're in West Virginia, and you got the fall crisp football weather's coming. Halloween's coming. Everybody's worried about what costume they're going to wear and all this other stuff. And all we got in the book is football. Basketball just started. Got this nice little Laker hat on, throwback. Baseball's going on. I got the Dodgers shirt on. I don't know whether I'm coming or going, but I know that on Wednesdays, I'm here to talk football with you. Take it away, sir. Where are we going first with 8 in the box?
Here we go. We've got 8 for you. We're going to begin as we have the last few weeks. We've got a weeknight game for you. Let's go to Friday night. Colorado State at Utah State. Rams by 3.5. Total sitting 58.5. As I always say, you can give us updated lines as we dive into this game as we record on a Wednesday afternoon. This one to me is an interesting one. I have liked the Rams the last couple of weeks. They've been nice and profitable here for a few weeks. It feels like teams in two different spots. Utah State, I felt like we talked about early in the season. Blake Anderson comes in from Arkansas State, injected some life into them, up-tempo offense. I felt like they were around the college football landscape early. Now I feel like that's Colorado State. They had that good showing out at Iowa where they covered. They have been very good, especially defensively. How about this for Colorado State in their last 4? They have allowed 6, 24, 14, and 7 points.
Ooh, those boys be playing some defense.
They are. And the 24 was against Iowa, a top 5 team at Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City.
Are we mentioning Iowa? They're not in the rundown. I really don't want to talk about Iowa after what happened last week with Iowa.
Well, you're going to get Iowa again because we're talking Purdue later, so we have to talk Iowa.
All right, never mind. Go ahead, continue, sir. Is that so? Are you impressed or not impressed with that effort, like the Iowa thing? To you, that's good that they only held them to that many points, because Iowa don't seem like they can score against. Yeah, because they only scored 7 against Purdue.
Yeah, Iowa's offense struggles at times, but if you're Colorado State and you're on the road against a team that was playing really well, to be in that game that gets a touchdown late, yeah, I think that's actually fairly impressive. But my point was, the one time somebody got over 3 touchdowns on them was a top 5 FBS team that was playing pretty well. They come back to their level of competition against a Utah State team that wants to throw it against a Colorado State defense that's pretty good. My point to all of that is simply my first instinct tells me Colorado State on this one. So we'll just start with me liking a road favorite. We'll just come right out of the gate, road favorite. So go ahead, take it away.
Some things just feel like a comfortable old pair of shoes that you just slide right into every day. And the wife goes, "What are you keeping those for?" "Because I like them and it feel good. That's why." And you with a road favorite, whether it's Friday night, Saturday morning, it don't matter. Saturday night, you got to lay it. I'm already looking at it going, I want the home dog. I'm thinking, and just like you don't watch all these teams play every week. You can't. There's just too much going on. I feel exactly like you said with Utah State. Early, yeah, there was a lot of talk. Maybe they were playing like single primetime games where they were on late night or something, and I feel like they were more in the mix. But I mean, you know, Colorado State's 4-2 against the spread. Utah State is 3-3 against the spread. That becomes just minutia, noise, whatever. It's average. So now we got a single game Friday night. You know me. I think I'm taking the dog in this one. The early move came. It's 3.5 right now. Pretty solid. 58. Opener at Circa in Vegas was 1, and it got bet up. It doesn't mean that that's the side. That means that's the side who the bad guys liked. Okay, play it, I'll take the dog at home.
Yeah, I don't love the 3.5. I will give you one more stat. Action Network has Colorado State's defense, pass defense, second nationally in success rate. Utah State's going to want to throw it. That's a bad matchup for the Aggies.
Can Utah State run the ball? Just looking at the numbers, in your opinion?
No, they're not going to run it on Colorado State. They're going to become one-dimensional, and if you get one-dimensional against a good defense, give me the defense in that scenario. Now, to your point, though, the hook there, the 3.5, I would have loved Colorado State had I hopped on it at 1 or been able to get a good money line price. I would have run with that all day. 3.5's tough. Is it coming back? Am I going to be able to get 3 or under, or is it only going the other way now? Because then I'm with you. I think I would pass at 3.5, although I like Colorado State to win the game.
I would say it's not coming back. I think they're going to sit at 3.5. Books are all right with their position at this point. If you're going to play it, don't be afraid of the 3.5. It's not really a key number in college football, B-How. It's not that important. It's not the 3. The power of the 3 in the NFL is huge. The power of the 3 in college football, honestly, it's unimportant.
Okay, good tip. All right, let's move on to our next game. I can't wait to watch this. Now, as you know, I'm in Big 12 country, so I've got extra eyes on this one. Oklahoma State, Iowa State. Cyclones by 7 in this one. Over-under number sitting 47. Oklahoma State is undefeated. I'm not sure if you've looked at this, but the Cowboys are undefeated. That big come-from-behind win against Texas last week. Iowa State you're getting here. I got a bunch of questions, and I got 1,000 numbers I can throw at you, but I want to start here. This is one of those where I look at this and go, hold on here. Why is the number 7? Why is this 7 for Iowa State?
Because it should be lower or should be higher?
Yeah, well, an undefeated Oklahoma State team that's playing pretty well, that has a really good defense against an Iowa State team that may have been overrated early, but they're starting to play. This is one of those, you bookmakers trying to trick us here. Is this one of those stinky lines that everybody's hopping on Oklahoma State? And I look at this and go, hold on, the Cyclones might be the team everybody thought they were in August. They're starting to play. And let me give you one number before we dive into a bunch of numbers. You ready?
Yep.
In Ames, they call October Brocktober in honor of Brock Purdy, the quarterback. Brocktober. The Cyclones, 15-2 straight up in the month of October since 2017. Say hello and welcome aboard to Brocktober. Wow. This tells me I got to go Iowa State right here. You book guys are trying to trick me. I got to go Iowa State. They're the side, are they not?
Last week, right, we talked about Oklahoma State, and they were playing Texas, and the line was 5.5. And was it time for Oklahoma State to lose a game, 6-0 right now going into this game, and 4-2 against the number going into this game? Pretty good, but they're going to Texas. Texas just beat Oklahoma or lost to Oklahoma. Crazy game, great offense. They're going to beat Oklahoma State. They didn't. Oklahoma State then goes on the road, second week, back-to-back here, to play Iowa State, who, as we remember early in the season, we liked against Iowa. We got off the train a little bit and went, maybe not. Now, when you do the numbers, this is the number you come up with, and you go, oh, that feels a little high. And then you put it out there, ain't nobody betting the favorite. You're taking one-sided action at this number, and it's the dog, which is very unusual. I'm with you. I would want, if I was sitting in the book booking the bets, or if we had our own sports book, me, you, and Dan Alexander /newbie at Newbie Talks on Twitter, our producer, we got together and said, well, we're running a book. What are we doing? We're sitting here and taking the bets. Iowa State wins this game. These Iowa teams I cannot figure out, B-How. I just cannot figure it out. I did say Iowa was going to beat Penn State. I think it's the only one I got right all season. I've been wrong. I loved Iowa State at the beginning of the year. They went to Iowa, lost. I've been off them, been against them. Now I'm back. Brocktober, baby. That sounds good to me. Are you in any way thinking Oklahoma State can win this game? Can they win this football game?
See, I don't think they can. I think they're due to give one back here. And then I'm staring at these numbers, as I like to do when we get this time of year. These numbers start to normalize and mean a little more than they do earlier. And I'm looking at Iowa State. Again, They are starting to become the team that a lot of people thought they were, with all those returning guys back. And again, their key is Brock Purdy. When he is playing well and not turning it over, they've got every other piece. Breece Hall, one of the best running backs in the country, although Oklahoma State with Jalen Warren, he's been very good. Oklahoma State's defense, very good. Iowa State's the only team in the country in top 10 expected points added offensively and defensively. You go to net yards per play, massive advantage for Iowa State against Oklahoma State. This points, it's in Ames. This points to everybody liking the undefeated Oklahoma State, and you telling me that's too many points with 7. I may not be right. I'm Iowa State in this one. Give me the Cyclones in Brocktober.
I'm on the favorite as well, sir. I've seen this so many times, and like maybe there is some magic going on with Oklahoma State. Maybe, the Cowboys, the orange, all of it can go into Iowa State and win this game. But if you're asking me for a side, now it's a little scary, Howe, because the total is only 47, right? So we're expecting a defensive game when you look at the total. We may only win this game by field goal. It may be 24-20, something like that. Start to do the numbers with the 47, and you go, boy, we're going to have to not only win the turnover battle, but maybe win it by 2. And as long as we don't turn it over, let's get 28 points. I'll take our chances that we keep them below 20.
Got it. All right. Let's go to another one that I think is hard to figure out here. Clemson at Pitt. You've got Pittsburgh at night in your backdrop right there.
I do.
Pitt Panthers favored against Clemson by 3 total in the mid-40s here. Your Pitt Panthers, I know I can't say that because you're a Penn State guy, so you can't.
Yeah, but I was a Pitt guy first. I was a Pitt. Danny Marino was my favorite player of all time. I get a little bit of
a West Virginia guy that's been in attendance for numerous backyard brawls. I'm not even sure I can talk about Pitt, say Pitt, even talk about this game with Pitt, but I will. So here's the question.
We had a guy in the book in the risk group who used to go when Pitt was playing or West Virginia was playing, he would go, attention fans, no smoking of corncob pipes is allowed in Pitt Stadium. Like he used to imitate the public address announcer that used to say that in his backyard brawls. And I used to laugh every time. I said, did you ever go to a game there? He said, no, but I used to love hearing it over the audio. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to veer us off path.
And see, what I would love when I worked in the WVU athletic department is rolling in there with our really great teams, hanging about 50 some on Pitt in front of 1,300 people in the stands.
Nobody went to the games.
All those empty seats, just rolling them and saying, thanks for having us. We'll see you. We'll take another Big East when we're out.
I can't wait to hear more of these stories as we continue to do these talks. I love when you come out of them, especially the basketball stories when you went to places that were basketball schools, kicked their ass, and then left the keys and said, see you later. We'll be back next year. You can come to our place next time. I love those stories.
Thanks for having us as you walk across the logo on the floor. See you. Thanks, everybody. All right. Clemson at Pitt. Kenny Pickett here offensively for Pitt. I mean, they're rolling. They're averaging nearly 50 points per game. But now they get a real defense. Here comes Clemson's defense that is still legit. The Clemson offense is a mess. They can't get it going. We keep waiting for them to get it going, a la Oklahoma, who finally did with Caleb Williams. And Clemson is not getting it going, Dave, offensively. They cannot figure out what to do on the offensive side, but their defense is still really good. Here comes Pitt, favored in an ACC game against Clemson. That's the first time since a Lamar Jackson-led Louisville team was favored over Clemson in 2016.
I knew you would know the exact year and date and opponent. Thank you, sir. I had it written down. First time since 2016, but I was going to say, do you know who it was against? And you absolutely did. You always come through, Howe. I love it. Go ahead, continue, sir.
All right, so what do we do? Can Pitt put up 27 here? Can they put up 30? Do they need that many to get a win? I mean, you're asking a lot. And if they don't, can they win this 21-17? I mean, what are you doing here with Pitt Clemson?
This is such an interesting game for me. I saw this on the board, and I said before I saw the number, I was trading the text, with a couple of guys in the business. I'm like, what are you guys making this number? Because Pitt has to be favored, in my opinion. But do you go over the 3 or under the 3? That's the only question. Some places open this thing pick. Some places open this thing 2. Some opened it 4. And we've all arrived to the same number. Again, somehow, Every book in the world got 3.5. Every single one. There's maybe one rogue 3 around, and they're charging minus 115. So we've arrived at the number, and it's only Wednesday. Pitt is favored against Clemson. The game total's 48. You are absolutely right. That's the number we have to get to points-wise. We got to score 24 minimum to win this game. I think the Pitt Panthers do. Nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me. I think something special is going on at Pitt. It's hard to say because they lost at home to Western Michigan.
Yeah.
That's the one when you go back and you look at the game logs, you cannot explain. There's always one. There's always one. That's the only one. I think Clemson's offense, we had it last week. We nailed it against Syracuse on a Friday night. All that orange. It was hurting my eyes. I'm not going to lie, but I watched it. Yeah. Syracuse covered. Syracuse made it a game in the Carrier Dome. Clemson's going to go on the road to Pittsburgh outside. You know, you get that fall weather. We can check the weather, but I think it favors Pitt. Pitt, it can run the ball. Are they going to be able to run the ball against Clemson? Very hard. Are you thinking? You're thinking dog, aren't you? I see the look on your face. You got the wheels turning.
This is hard for me. This is one of those, we've talked about this a bunch. This is Joe Fan, not you pro, not your sharps, your rhombuses, whatever you call them, the bad guy. This is Joe Fan. How do I get the Clemson brand out of my head and take Pitt when I'm doing this? Because here's what I come back to. The Pitt schedule: UMass, Tennessee, Western Michigan, New Hampshire, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, who's not even really that good. They only scored 28 against Virginia Tech. And now you're telling me they got to get to 24, 27 against Clemson. Can they win it 21?
Oh, man.
I think you're probably right. I mean, Kenny Pickett's been very good. He's been there 113 years. He's experienced. They're scoring, but Pitt is probably the right side. But, man, if you're going to give me 3 and if you're going to give me 3.5, do I not just take Clemson and say I'm going down with the ship? I mean, if your offense is still this bad, I'm just going down with the ship. How do I not do that?
It's going to be a tough one to watch if you have Pitt. I mean, it's going to be a tough one to watch because you ain't getting away from this team, right? You're not going to get 14-0, 14-3 lead, most likely not, unless they turn the ball over to you and you get those short fields. Narduzzi likes to kick in field goals when he should be going for it. There's all kinds of things going on in Pitt that you go, what are we doing? Under, Howe. This game has to go under. I think I like that the most. But, man, I want to see Pitt kind of keep pushing here. It'd be fun to have that. Wouldn't it be fun if they played Penn State again? Like, that was always fun. I think they got to make Pitt, Penn State, and West Virginia, you all got to play again every season.
It's coming. Pitt and Penn State are on the schedule for West Virginia in the coming years.
Yes.
It is coming. We're getting there. All right, let's move on. Let's go Pac-12. Fun one here. Oregon at UCLA.
Oh, my goodness.
Before I dive into numbers for you and before we get into Oregon's injury report, which if you were scrolling their injury report with your mouse, you could just take your finger and go like that, like really fast, like all the way. Everybody's injured. Now, they're getting some guys back, including their center, which I think matters in this game. But this is another one. Give me the insider. Just pull the curtain back. Pull the Vegas curtain back and give me this. I've got unranked favorite taking on a ranked team. I got to go unranked favorite first, right? I've got to go UCLA side here. Before I even get into any numbers, I got to go UCLA.
Oregon's 5-1. UCLA's 5-2. Straight up. Oregon's 1-5 against the spread. By the way, Clemson's 0-6 against the spread. I forgot to drop that in there. You can't explain it. We're going to ask them to cover a game against Pitt at Pitt. They're going to cover one. Is it that one? Oregon has only covered one game all season. They covered. They got to go to UCLA, who's 5-2 against the number. It matches their straight up record. Yeah, I think this is funny because in the room, they're like, what do you make the game? One guy says Oregon 1. Another guy says UCLA 2. Another guy says pick. This is one of those ones, an open pick, because you don't know who to make the favorite. And now the betting market is telling you go with the home team. Give me that unranked team. Give me that squad. I have no idea. I mean, I have right now on Wednesday as we record 8 in the Box where we talk football. I don't know. I will know maybe by Saturday when game kicks. Maybe I won't. It's really hard because you can make a case for both sides here. So I'm waiting in great anticipation for you to give me something, anything that's going to tell me that there's a side maybe I would lean to. Total 60. That's perfect. Both teams are going to score right around 28 points. Like, I got nothing here. Give me something.
All right, let's talk some numbers then. Both teams want to run it, right? And you're going to get similar offensive numbers here. 425 versus 408 for Oregon in terms of yards per game. 41st and 42nd in terms of offensive yards per game.
Man.
Neither defense in the top 50 in yards per play, but both defenses, here's your key. I wish you could handicap turnovers because that's the key. Both teams force turnovers here. So that's and again, that doesn't help us. That doesn't help anybody listening to the show because you just can't handicap turnovers on this, but both of them can force them. Oregon top 5 nationally in turnover margin. Here's an angle. Again, hard to handicap, but here's something to keep an eye on. Arizona State big played UCLA in their 3-touchdown win.
Yes.
Right? Arizona State just lined up and said, all right, here, we're just going to big play you.
Yes.
Can Oregon do that? It's not normally what the Ducks do, but they have 6 different receivers that have a long reception of 30 yards or more. Okay. But they're nationally just 63rd in plays of 30 yards or more. So they're not necessarily a big play team, even though they have multiple guys. Here's something to watch. UCLA's defense is 98th out of 130 college football teams when it comes to plays of 30 yards or more given up. So you can big play this UCLA defense. Can Oregon do that? Is that a separator here? Do you see that happen? It feels to me, listen, Oregon has grinded out a couple of their last wins. They have those injuries. They're getting guys back. Chip Kelly seems to have it starting to go at UCLA with this offense. Big revenge game for him going up against his former team. Home, unranked favorite. This feels like UCLA. If you're making me pick a side, give me UCLA here.
I'm wearing all the LA stuff. I've become a kind of a West Coast guy, and I really enjoy the Pac-12. Watching it, betting it is hard. This feels like, as you're talking, I'm thinking of a GIF. Do you know that Spider-Man GIF where they're doing the thing like this and there's like mirror images of each other like that? Yeah, there we go. Pointing at each other like that. That's what we should be doing right now and trying to pick a side for this game. It's so hard. I don't know. I'm leaning after you made the case. I'm leaning UCLA, but I think over. If both teams force turnovers, I think we're going to get some scoring. Now you tell me there's a possibility of a couple big plays, and you're walking me through it. And this is kind of what we do every week. We don't talk about the games 1 second before we do the show. I'm thinking over is my favorite play in this game. Give me that over 60, and then maybe some in-game. This will be an in-game dream. This will be trying to watch the game in-game. Bet this side, bet that side, bet this side, bet that side. Big plus, both sides, and then watch the thing go to overtime and miss the number by 1.
Well, to your point on the in-game, the over-under, the total's interesting there because 2 teams that want to run it, you're nervous about being on an over with 2 teams that want to run it. But is there anything worse than being on an under and then there's a big play, a 74-yard run, a turnover on a short field? So I think you're right. I think that's a great point by you. Given those 2 numbers I gave you, you may lose, but I think you got to go over.
Well, you don't
want to be throwing up with the under when there's 3 turnovers and 2 big plays, as we just gave you the numbers.
If you take an under in a Pac-12 game, you better put the Pepto-Bismol next to you because you're going to need it. Your stomach ain't going to feel good. You're going to be watching a game. There's going to be something that happened. You're going to go, oh, why did I bet the under in this game? Unless you tell me we got like a big defense in the Pac-12, which I don't think we do. I'm good with
these teams.
Yeah,
and so, okay, real quick, and I know we got to move on here, but I love when asking you about this. So this is one of those maybe look over first, but then start to watch that in-game number that if the running is coming and there isn't big plays and there isn't turnovers early and we get that number to crash, we might be able to pick up a even better number and go over again.
100%.
Right? That's what you like?
Absolutely. First couple drives, we get punts and we get, 8 minutes, 5 minutes off the clock. A total of 60 goes down to 53. Like it moves a whole touchdown quick when you don't get score. If neither team scores on the opening drive, I'm watching this model working, like it jumps way down. It overestimates the importance of those minutes and forgets about big plays, forgets about fumbles and interceptions and pick sixes. So yes, absolutely. It's a great way to look at it.
Okay, that might be me. I might stay off pregame and just go in the
You want to come out and go to the game? We could drive to LA and go to the game. I went to the Dodger game last week with the kids. It's a short drive. I'm thinking about hitting Mrs. Consigliere with this little one, driving there Saturday and coming back. And then
you got all the LA gear on. You might as well
ready to go.
Let's go. All right. Speaking of totals, and we certainly are not saying over in this.
No.
Let's go Wisconsin. -3 over Purdue. Total under 40 for the second straight week for Wisconsin. And here again, I've got numbers for you. I got a couple things, those philosophically and psychologically we got to talk about. Two things.
First of all, we got to talk about how this thing made the rundown. Wisconsin, Purdue, you picked the rundown this week. You put Wisconsin. I never question what you do on cash considerations. Carl picks the games. On 8 in the box, you pick the games. And I saw Wisconsin, Purdue. I'm like, he must have put something wrong. Where's the Penn State game? He didn't put the Penn State game on. Put Wisconsin, Purdue, -3 on the road and 40. I can't wait to hear what you come with right now.
Well, here's why I picked this as an old Big Ten guy, originally from the state of Iowa. So old Big Ten, we're getting into Big Ten weather. It's going to be cold. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be 39. They want to run it 135 times and not score any points. This is a perfect game. But here's why. Seriously, here's why I put this in here. Terrible spot for Purdue. You're off a massive win on the road, upset of a top 5 team. I mean, this is psychology-wise. Who's Purdue playing this week? Because I want the other side. I don't even know who Purdue's playing. I want the other side of Purdue. I started lining that up last week when I saw they were going to win in Kinnick. Who do they have? Line it up. Now, what happened is I saw it was Wisconsin and went, how do we end up every week having to be on Wisconsin? I don't want to be on Wisconsin. I don't want to talk about Wisconsin. I don't want to put any more money on Wisconsin.
No more,
I don't know what Wisconsin's doing. How am I in a position that I've got to like Wisconsin? That's why they're on the rundown. Because I want you to sort it out. I got numbers. I'm not even giving numbers. Why am I having to look at a Wisconsin play this week again?
How about not only you looking at Wisconsin again, you're looking at laying points on the road with Wisconsin. I mean, you can't do it, can you? But you can't. This is the perfect letdown spot for Purdue. This is one of those ones where someone who pays attention to casual bettor goes, explain this line to me. Why in the hell? What? Purdue just beat Iowa. They're at home. They're dogs. Give me Purdue on the money line. Oh, this is so easy. How do you people have jobs? You call yourself odds makers, bookmakers? Just give me the free money. Give me Purdue money line. That's what people come up to the counter and say. Then, you and I would dive deep into this stuff every week. You're looking at it right. You're absolutely looking at it right before the game's even over. Before you see the double zeros on the clock when Purdue beat Iowa, I'm going against them next week. And then you catch that right cross right in the face. It's Wisconsin. Oh, no, I can't do it. I don't want to watch. The total's 40. Wisconsin, they didn't even cover against who they play last week? Army. They couldn't score no points.
And it was under. It was 37 or something. It closed. It still went under. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to get to you. I'm going to make a case for an under here. So you keep going. Then we're going to talk total. We're going to talk total.
It's the only thing I want to talk in the game. I don't want no side of this game. Please tell me why. I bet whatever reason you give me right now, I'll lay the price. Got to be like at least -450. Everything you give me has to lead to the under. There's not a single thing you could say to me right now before I hear it that would make me say, I want over in Wisconsin, Purdue. With real money, I'm going to say that? No chance.
No chance you are. And here's some numbers if you want to back that up. Both teams bottom 50 in scoring offense nationally. Both teams top 26 in scoring defense. Purdue's 5th, by the way. Do you realize that Purdue is 5th? We talk about Wisconsin's defense.
Wow.
Purdue's defense is getting it done.
Wow.
I mean, Purdue's defense is getting it done. Now, here's the other one. Purdue hasn't played an over yet.
Really?
They're all under.
6 games, all under. Yes, you're right. That is correct.
By 2 touchdowns each. I mean, it's not close. So the totals have been way off in terms of how Purdue's been playing. We know that stretch is not going to continue. So the only reason to look over would be, are they due to go over? But this game just screams under. I mean, how does it not? Now, the only thing is the only two things. One, I just gave you that Purdue's due for an over, and you just saw them last week against an elite Iowa defense put points on the board. I mean, Braum got tricky, was running 3 different quarterbacks in. David Bell was a star receiver. So they put points up last week, still didn't get over. But that would be the only reason. But I think if you're playing this, I mean, I can't do Wisconsin and I can't lay over. It's Wisconsin and under the two sides, right?
I don't want. I have no idea what to do with the side. You hear me? I become like the stuttering guy. Like, blah, 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 blah. I don't want the side. I don't want nothing to do with the side. I want under. But here's the other thing. Here's the catch. If you make me watch one play of this game, I ain't talking to you no more. I'd say I am watching this game. I'll bet under. I'll check the score maybe towards what I think would be halftime. I'll look. Hopefully it's 3-0. I don't care who's winning. Hopefully it's Wisconsin. The best way that this game ends is Wisconsin wins by 3, 13-10. That's the final. Then everybody pushes. We get to give all the money back on the side, and you listen to the 8 in the Box podcast and go, those guys said under. Thank you. We got under. We didn't have to watch it. What's the next game?
Here we go. On to the next. Head to the SEC. Tennessee at Alabama. Alabama again, 25-point favorite, 67, high 60s is the total. Alabama's back, baby. We got our first quarter cash. We got our first half cash. We got our full game cash last week. We rolled
tide
and cashed all those tickets. All right, so now we're flush with Alabama cash. Here we go again. Tennessee off that chaotic, emotional.
4.
Yes.
When you hear golf balls go 4, how come nobody was yelling 4? They were throwing golf balls over the place in that place, and nobody was yelling 4. People are crazy. Nuts.
You know who I feel badly for? The Tennessee Athletic Administration. Talk about a story. I've been there. I've been there when West Virginia. The meetings that those people were in this week about fan behavior. God, I'm so glad I'm doing this. Get me out of a meeting about fan behavior. You guys were acting like goofs. I want no part of trying to legislate you. I've been there. I've sat in those meetings. I've been with the president's office. I've been with legal counsel. I've been with get me out of them. Like, best of luck, Tennessee Athletic Administration.
It's a good thing that they're on the road, right? Because now if they were at home, it would be even more. It had to be a nightmare back to back.
Yes. Get them out of there. All right. Let's get into the good stuff here. All right. Tennessee's injury situation at quarterback in particular. You saw that at the end of the game last week. So you're getting a battered, let down Tennessee team without potentially their starting quarterback. This is all right. First, let's look at some of these plays. We like these derivative bets with Alabama. First quarter, 7.5. First half, 14.5. Dang it. Ooh. I wanted a little bit under this. That makes me think Tennessee full. What do you like here? What's your thought here? Tennessee, Alabama.
Alabama's on a mission now, right? I mean, they got their loss. They got their clunker. They go and destroy Mississippi State. Now they get Tennessee, wounded animal, quarterback, hurt. I don't know how many points Tennessee scores, but I know Alabama scores enough to cover that first quarter, first half, and the game.
You like it all.
I like it all. This is like we talk about on Game Within the Game. When I like a total, you pound it. You go under game, under first 5, under first 3. If the game plays out like it's supposed to, like you handicapped it or think, you win them all. I'll tell you right now, I think you win them all this one. Alabama, I'm not saying they shut them out. Obviously, they don't shut anybody out anymore, but they are going to score 50. 50 going to be enough. Tennessee scores what? 20 max. The game total is painted 67. All right, so 50-20. Sounds about right. They cover the spread. I like Alabama. I can't make a case for anything to say give me Tennessee here at all. 0. You got anything?
Well, no, because I am on the side of give me the Alabama ATM most weeks. I want to continue to ride that.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say with the weird Tennessee offense with that pace, couple different things. If they're going to go super fast and not get first downs, I mean, this is Captain Obvious, but if they're going to go fast and not get first downs, they're going to get run out of the gym, right? I mean, Alabama will just lambaste them.
Yeah.
The flip side is Alabama up big late, looking at Tennessee, saying,
Back door's open.
Play it out. Yeah, with a team that wants to go fast, if they get it going a little bit late, that back door's like a double door and it's wide open potentially.
Yeah.
That's what would scare me about full game on Alabama side. That's my only thing.
That's it.
Right?
That's the only way they get there is through the back door. They ain't coming through the front door. They got to sneak around back. Yep.
Okay, let's go. Another one that seems really quiet for as big of a name as this has been.
Yep.
I know we're two old guys, but this has been a game over our lifetimes that is always massive. USC at Notre Dame. The Irish favored by a touchdown in this. Total pushing up against 60, high 50s in this case. I feel like I haven't heard a single word about this until it's now coming out of my mouth. Is USC playing this year? What happened to Notre Dame? They played like 19 games in the first 3 weeks, and I haven't. Where's Notre Dame? Who's playing in this game? What is happening? What am I doing here? USC Notre Dame. Before we get numbers, just overall quiet USC Notre Dame matchup here.
USC is 3-3, straight up and against the spread. Notre Dame is 5-1 straight up, but they're 3-3 against the spread. Even big brands like them, when they're 3-3, we win some, we lose some. Nobody cares. Like, it just kind of evaporates into the full slate of what's college football. And it doesn't have the same allure, let's say in mid-October, that this game has usually cachet later in the season. So I think it kind of does get lost. I mean, and now you come up with the number of 7. Notre Dame favored at home by 7. The total's 57.5 or 58. It just kind of blends right into the background. It doesn't, I don't know. I like sometimes as odds makers, we go, sometimes you really get them wrong and sometimes you really get them right. This number hasn't moved one bit. Only thing it moved was the total 58, so I'm 57.5 now in like 2 or 3 places, but that's it. 7, 58. Power ratings say the number's this. The betting market says the number's this. I think obviously this will move as it gets closer to kickoff, but right now it's just lost in the ether.
Okay, now let's. This is turning into my favorite part of the week. And before I even tell you the game, it's the highest total of the week, and I turn it over to Newbie for the great sound effects.
Off to the races, boys.
All right, here we go. Now, last week, I tried to tell you it's the under. This segment goes under. When we say highest total of the week, it just is under. We're 1-5 or 5-1, however you want to look at it. 5-1 to the under in this segment.
1 over 5 unders. That's what that means. Don't confuse people. We're 5-1, 1-5. You start relax. We've only gone over one time, and it wasn't last week. It was not. It should have been like so many times opportunity, but only 1 over, 5 under, 6 times, highest total of the week. What do you got?
Here we go. And we're going back to, I think it's just their spot. We just build this. Ole Miss is back. Welcome back, Lane Kiffin, Matt Corral, and Ole Miss. 4th time we've done them in the highest total of the week. And this is a fun one. You want drama. You want the chaos of college football. You want all the craziness that comes.
Give it
Ole
all.
Miss, LSU. LSU, which has become a complete dumpster fire. The thing is just burning down in Baton Rouge. I mean, what are they doing? Now, how do we handicap them? Do they stand up and fight one more time for their outgoing coach, Ed Orgeron? Do they lay down? Have they quit? What the heck is Ole Miss doing coming off that mess we just talked about in Tennessee? I mean, what's happening in the SEC? There's chaos. We've got a number. Now, it's not the 82.5 we had last week, but we're sitting where? 76, 75.5 here.
Yeah.
There's some serious questions, though. Seriously, what do you do with LSU? They stood up and got a win against Florida last week, but what are they going to do? Ole Miss's defense is better. You saw them last week with stops. But what's the injury situation of Matt Corral? He might be dinged up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
To me, you know where I'm going. This screams I've got to ride the trend. I mean, you guys show me you can beat us in the highest total of the week. Give me the under. I got to ride the under. I'm not touching over.
I mean, you're right. Again, I mean, I know sometimes it's hard for people to say, and it hurts sometimes a little bit. You're right. I was wrong. You're right. I was wrong. I just said it twice. I said, I mean, you got to say under. You have to say under. We keep pointing it out. It's the highest total of the week, and we should have in parentheses that goes under every week. So, I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on in LSU. Nobody does. They don't know. Somebody
They
knows.
don't know. They don't know. You're right. There's the key. They don't know what's going on at LSU.
How
don't. Can we know what's going on?
They don't. But Ole Miss, yeah, they ain't really playing no defense. They ain't advertising it. We're going to score 50 and you guys can score 40 and we're going to try to get out of here and win. I can't believe, 76.5. I mean, the numbers are getting ridiculous, but people keep betting this. Initial bets come under, and then they get to a number and it sits and people just bet it over. The book found its way to the number quick and is happy to collect the tickets on the under afterwards. So I think we're on the side of the book, which again, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Last week in the NFL, if you were on the side of the book, you got destroyed. And you're asking yourself, how do these people do this job? Why do they do this job? Because they don't know shit either. Like I say it all the time. Nobody knows shit. Ain't nobody know nothing in LSU right now. Nothing. Who's going to take that job, Hal? Do you want that job?
No. You know who's going to take that job? I mean, they're going to line up to take that job. Here's why. Let me just give you this real quick. Well, you're going to pay him $7 or $8 million a year, number one. Who doesn't want the money? And number two, the last two coaches have won national titles. Their names, Ed Orgeron and Les Miles. Ed Orgeron and Les Miles are going to win national championships. I line up to take that job. That is a great job. You can obviously get guys. Les Miles and Ed Orgeron have national titles. I crawl on my stomach to Baton Rouge for $8 million and a chance. Just give me my ring. Here's my ring size. Here's my direct deposit account. Come on with it, LSU. Les Miles and Ed Orgeron have natties.
Wow. Can you do that bear crawl? Can you get down and do that thing? Can you get down
now? I'm headed to Baton Rouge. I'm going to take it right now. And I'm going to get fired in a year and a half. I've got 16 months. I'm going to win a natty. It's going to be chaos. They're going to fire me, but I got a natty. Thanks for having me. And I got a lot. Ed Orgeron just got $18 million to go away. Ed Orgeron got
I just want one time. I want somebody to give me money to go away at some point in my life. Ain't ever done it. I just want one time to go, you know what, Sharapan? Here's the bag. Get out of my face. We're done with you. Perfect. See you later. And I love that.
Who doesn't want this job? There's why you want this job. Everybody's lined up in Baton Rouge.
Before we go, last question for you. Why did you leave Illinois, Penn State off the list? The line is 23.5. The total is 46.5. You know that's a math problem. You know I like math problems. And you know I like Penn State. Why is Penn State not talked about today?
I wasn't aware Penn State was even playing this week. Couple reasons. One, James Franklin is either going to have a Brinks truck back up into Happy Valley, or he's going to USC or the aforementioned LSU.
You think he'd go to LSU? Oh, I'd be so pissed off. He
should go. He should go to USC. He should go to. Time to leave Penn State. Time to start over. Do something else. Here's number two. Why? Did you see Brett Bielema's press conference this week? Did you see his press conference?
Why would I watch that?
He walked into the locker room, took a bomb, lit it, and walked out and said, "See ya." He torched his guys. Said his offensive line doesn't have anybody that's playing for him that should be second or third team. He right. Absolutely eviscerated his guys.
He's right. Yeah, he's a coach. That's what he's supposed to do. That's the Wisconsin coach, right?
Former Wisconsin, former Arkansas, was at the Patriots for a little bit. But here's the thing. He did that in mid-October. You know there's still 5 or 6 games left to play. This wasn't heading into the final week of the season. He's still got to get guys to go play. Was that a master stroke of motivation, or did the guys in there go, "What? Well, I'm done now. I'm not playing for that guy. I'm not playing for this guy." So you tell me. You tell me how to handicap that.
Are you laying or taking with Penn State? That's all.
I'm not even watching that. I'm busy watching dumpster fires at LSU.
Man, I can't even get you to give me a number. My
God. Illinois, Penn State. Get out of here. I got Wisconsin, Purdue on there for you, and you're going to bring me a 23-point Penn State favorite. Get out of here.
Enjoy that game. And, unlike that guy, great job today, as always, on the show. Want to thank Dan Alexander / Newbert, who's going to be in Vegas this weekend, baby. I can't wait. I'm picking his kid up at the airport on Saturday. We got testosterone in the Hamptons with me and the girls. They're already saying, if you don't clean this house and make it look like brand new when Newbie gets here, you and him are both leaving. So, Newbie, if the stuff is left all if the stuff is left all over and Saturday you show up, we got a room. We got to go. So I'm just saying, they don't listen to the show. Although Kylie might listen now. I don't know. But for Dan Alexander at Newbie Talks on Twitter, for my guy Brad Howe at Brad Howe07 on the Twitter, and myself, Dave Sharapan, the Sportsbook Consigliere, I hope you enjoy the show. Like and subscribe on YouTube, wherever you find podcasts. This is 8 in the Box. It's been a blast. We'll talk to you guys next week after Penn State covers.